Why did Doctor Doom say, "Hell answers to me"? Avengers Doomsday explained. Warning, spoiler warning. This video discusses major details from the latest Avengers Doomsday footage, including Doctor Doom's confrontation with Thor, and what his line, "Hell answers to me," could reveal about his powers and his role in the MCU. Doctor Doom has delivered plenty of intimidating lines in Marvel Comics, but one sentence from the new Avengers Doomsday footage has immediately become one of the most talked about moments surrounding the movie. Thor threatens Doom, telling him that he will beg for hell long before Thor grants it. And Doom simply answers, "Hell answers to me, for I am Doom." That line sounds like classic villain dialogue, but it may actually tell us something important about how Marvel is positioning Doctor Doom in the MCU. Is Doom literally connected to hell? Does this mean he controls supernatural forces? Could this be connected to Mephisto? Or is Doom simply making a statement about how powerful he believes himself to be? Let's break down what this line could really mean. 1. What happens in the scene? The line comes during a confrontation between Thor and Doctor Doom. The footage shows Doom standing against some of Marvel's most powerful characters, while the conflict appears to be connected to a much larger multiversal crisis. Thor isn't intimidated by Doom. Instead, he challenges him. Thor essentially tells Doom that he will eventually beg for hell before Thor gives him what he deserves. That sounds like a direct threat. But Doom doesn't respond like someone who is frightened. He responds as if Thor has completely misunderstood the situation. "Hell answers to me," and then, "For I am Doom." The important thing is the confidence. Doom isn't saying that he will eventually defeat hell. He's saying that hell itself answers to him. That immediately raises a much bigger question. What does Doom actually mean by hell? 2. Does Doom actually rule hell? This is where we need to be careful. The footage does not explicitly establish that Doctor Doom is the ruler of a literal hell dimension in the MCU. Marvel hasn't officially explained the exact meaning of the line, so it would be too early to say that Doom has become the ruler of hell or that he has definitely defeated a specific supernatural being. What the line does establish is that Doom wants the audience to understand one thing. He believes himself to be beyond the reach of the forces that normally terrify everyone else. And that fits Doctor Doom perfectly. Doom has never been a villain who sees himself as merely another superpowered character. He considers himself intellectually and morally superior to almost everyone around him. He doesn't simply want power. He believes that he is the person who should possess it. That arrogance is a central part of the character. 3. Why does Doom say, "For I am Doom"? The second half of the line makes the first half even more interesting. "For I am Doom." This is essentially Doom introducing himself as a force of nature. He's not simply saying, "I can control hell." He's saying, "Hell answers to me because of who I am." That distinction matters. Doom's identity and power are inseparable. In the comics, he is one of Marvel's most dangerous characters because he combines scientific genius, political power, technology, and magic. That combination makes him incredibly difficult to defeat. The MCU appears to be leaning heavily into that idea. 4. Doom isn't just a scientist. One of the most important things about this version of Doom is that Marvel appears to be emphasizing both sides of his abilities. Doom is famous for being a scientific genius, but he is also deeply connected to magic. That makes him particularly dangerous because he can operate in two completely different worlds. He can understand technology, he can manipulate advanced machinery, he can create armor and weapons, but he can also use mystical forces. The new footage appears to show Doom using powerful magic, including a sequence in which he raises broken Sentinels. That imagery is important because it suggests that the MCU's Doom isn't simply another armored villain. He may be capable of combining science and sorcery in a way that very few characters can match. 5. Does this connect to Mephisto? This is probably the biggest theory surrounding the line. Marvel fans immediately started asking whether Hell Answers to Me is a reference to Mephisto, and it's easy to understand why. Mephisto is one of Marvel's most important supernatural villains. He rules a hell-like dimension and has long been associated with souls, bargains, temptation, and demonic power. Doctor Doom also has a complicated history with supernatural forces in Marvel Comics. However, the footage does not confirm that Mephisto is involved in this scene. There is no official confirmation that Doom has defeated Mephisto. There is no confirmed statement that Doom literally rules Mephisto's realm. So this should remain a theory, rather than a fact. But the wording is clearly designed to make audiences think about the supernatural side of Doom. And Marvel knows exactly what fans will do when a character says that Hell answers to him. They are going to start asking, who is Hell? Who controls it? And what has Doom done to gain that kind of power? 6. Could Hell mean something else? Absolutely. Hell doesn't necessarily have to refer to one specific Marvel location. It could be metaphorical. Doom may simply be telling Thor that threats like death, suffering, and damnation have no power over him. In other words, Thor is threatening Doom with Hell. Doom's answer is basically, you're threatening me with something that is beneath me. That would fit Doom's personality extremely well. He doesn't accept the idea that anyone or anything is above him. Not heroes, not kings, not gods, and perhaps not even death itself. 7. Why is Thor the perfect character to hear this line? The choice of Thor is extremely important. Thor isn't an ordinary superhero. He's a god. He has literally fought supernatural beings and traveled between different realms. So when Thor talks about hell, the statement carries more weight than it would coming from an ordinary human character. Thor understands that there are forces beyond Earth. He understands gods, monsters, realms, magic, and cosmic powers. Yet Doom essentially dismisses Thor's threat. That's what makes the exchange so powerful. Thor is speaking from a position of enormous experience, but Doom responds as though Thor has no idea who he's dealing with. The footage also shows Doom overpowering Thor, which makes the line feel less like empty boasting and more like a declaration of power. 8. How powerful is Doctor Doom in this movie? This is one of the biggest questions coming out of the footage. Marvel appears to be presenting Doom as an extremely serious threat. The footage shows him confronting major heroes and using powers that go far beyond ordinary technology. The most striking moment comes when Thor attacks Doom. Instead of being overwhelmed, Doom is able to stop him. That matters because Thor has fought some of the strongest beings in the MCU. If Doom can casually neutralize Thor, Marvel is immediately communicating that this is not a villain the Avengers can simply overpower with brute strength. Doom has to be defeated differently, and that's very appropriate for the character. 9. Is Doom saying he is above Thor? In a way, yes. Thor's threat comes from a position of divine authority. He's effectively telling Doom that there is a punishment waiting for him. Doom's answer rejects that entire hierarchy. He's saying that Thor cannot threaten him with something Doom already considers himself capable of controlling. That makes the exchange a battle of personalities as much as a battle of powers. Thor represents divine strength. Doom represents human ambition taken to an extreme. And Doom is essentially telling Thor, you may be a god, but I am Doom. Final thoughts. So, why did Doctor Doom say, Hell answers to me? The honest answer is that Marvel hasn't completely explained the line yet. What we can see from the current footage is that Doom is being presented as a character with extraordinary confidence, powerful magic, scientific intelligence, and an almost absolute belief in his own superiority. Thor threatens him with hell. Doom doesn't fear it. He tells Thor that hell answers to him, and then he declares, "For I am Doom." That is classic Doctor Doom. The line isn't necessarily proof that he literally rules hell. It may be a reference to a supernatural force. It could potentially connect to Mephisto. Or it could simply be Doom declaring that even death and damnation are beneath his authority. But there is one thing the line makes very clear. Doom doesn't believe there is a power in existence that he cannot overcome. And that's what makes him so dangerous. Thanos wanted to reshape the universe according to his idea of balance. Doom appears to want something more personal: control. He has lost the people he loved. He believes the world failed him. And now he has the intelligence and power to force the world to obey him. So when Doom says, "Hell answers to me," he's not just trying to sound intimidating. He's telling Thor exactly how he sees himself. Not as a man standing before a god. Not as a villain standing before a hero. But as someone who believes that even the forces of death itself must answer when he speaks. And if Avengers Doomsday follows through on what this footage is promising, the Avengers may soon discover that fighting Doctor Doom isn't simply about defeating another powerful enemy. It's about stopping a man who genuinely believes that nothing in existence is above him. Not Thor, not Reed Richards, not the Avengers, not the multiverse, and perhaps not even hell. The latest footage has already confirmed the line and its larger confrontation with Thor, while the exact meaning behind Doom's claim remains deliberately unexplained. Avengers Doomsday is currently scheduled for December 18, 2026.